So I rewatched Too Fast, Too Furious recently, and I forgot how completely unhinged this movie is. Like, the first Fast and Furious movie at least pretends to be a grounded street racing movie. You know, there's undercover cops, actual tension, and there's some kind of logic happening. Too Fast, Too Furious though, this movie just shows up, throws logic out the window, pours neon fucking paint on everything, and just says,
all right, fire 'em up!
Hi guys, how you doing?
You first, asshole! You first!
You wanna tell her I can't tell the truth cause you can't face it.
Yeah, man, that's some good window. Yeah! That's some driving for your ass, baby. Ain't that some driving for your ass?
Me and Shotty crushing in the back on a webcam.
Eject those seat up, cuz!
I run the bands up, I make it bust. I wanna dance, baby, ain't in no rush. I wanna fuck, which I'm tryna.
Yeah, we ain't hungry no more either, bruh.
the first thing you might notice watching this movie is that Dom Toretto is gone. No Vin Diesel. No family speeches. No gravelly voice talking about living life
Quarter mile at a time.
Instead, the movie just follows Brian, played by Paul Walker, rest in peace, who is now apparently living his best life in Miami as a street racer. Which already feels funny because at the end of the first movie, he literally let a criminal escape and ruined his career as a cop. And somehow the sequel solution is basically, yeah, he just moved to Miami and kept racing. No hiding, no consequences. But honestly, it works because Paul Walker had this very chill screen presence. He never really felt like a hardened action hero. He always felt like a dude who just accidentally ended up in crazy situations. And that energy kind of carries the movie. Then the movie introduces what might actually be the best part of the entire thing. Roman Pierce.
That for me. Come on, cuz.
Played by Tyrese Gibson, Roman is basically the opposite of Brian. Brian is calm, quiet, and cool. Roman is just loud as fuck. Petty, dramatic, he's that whole package. And constantly berating Brian for being a terrible friend. But to be fair, he has a point, because the movie establishes that Brian basically ghosted Roman for years after becoming a cop. So the entire movie, Roman is just roasting him for it, and their dynamic ends up carrying most of the film. Because without Dom, the franchise needed some kind of chemistry, and Brian and Roman actually have a really fun buddy cop energy. And it's less serious than the first movie, but it's way more entertaining.
So forget about it, cuz.
Another thing that really makes this movie stand out is the setting. Instead of the gritty LA street racing vibe of the first film, everything is now happening in Miami. Bright colors, neon lights, ridiculous cars. The whole movie looks like someone poured a Mountain Dew commercial all over the screen. Every car is either bright yellow, purple, neon green, or chrome. Every race scene looks like it's happening inside a nightclub, and the soundtrack? It's just pure early 2000s hip hop the entire time. This movie doesn't just feel like it was made in 2003, it feels like it was trapped in 2003 forever. And honestly, I love that about this movie. It's kind of its charm.
Alien infidel. ¿Qué pasa, Jota? Hey, man.
Now, the one area where the movie definitely struggles is the villain. The main bad guy is Carter Verone, played by Cole Hasser, and he's basically just your standard crime boss.
You got balls, kid.
He's rich, he's angry, and he tortures people with a rat in a bucket. Which, okay.
I'll burn them! Alright, I'll burn them out.
But compared to later villains in the franchise, he's honestly very forgettable. Carter Verone just kind of yells at people and sits on his boat. And he's less terrifying crime lord and more, dude, how many silk shirts do you fucking have? The movie really shines when it comes to the action though, because this is where the franchise starts slowly realizing that logic is, well, optional. You've got street races through Miami traffic, cars jumping bridges, and one of the most ridiculous scenes in the movie, the warehouse scramble, where hundreds of street racers suddenly burst out of a garage at the same time to confuse the police. Is it realistic? Absolutely not. Is it awesome? Absolutely yes. This is one of those moments where this movie just fully commits to being fun instead of believable, and honestly that's kind of the DNA of what the franchise eventually becomes. You know, watching Too Fast, Too Furious now, it almost feels like a prototype for the insane franchise that came later. Because at this point the movies are still about street racing, but you can already see the shift happening. The action got bigger, the stakes are higher, the logic is getting thinner, and eventually that leads to the movies where they're literally driving cars in space. Which still feels insane to say out loud a little bit. But this movie's like the weird, awkward child. Not as grounded as the first film, but not as crazy as the later ones. Just sitting in the weird middle ground where everything is a little ridiculous but still kind of believable. I think that's why people still enjoy Too Fast, Too Furious. It's weird, it's cheesy, the dialogue is ridiculous, but it also still feels genuinely fun. There's no big save the world plot, no billion-dollar spy missions, no superhero physics. God, don't ever do that again. Just two guys trying to clear their criminal records by doing a job for the government. It's simple, it's dumb, but it's entertaining. And sometimes that's all a movie really needs. Looking back now, Too Fast, Too Furious feels like a time capsule, a snapshot or video of early 2000s car culture, music, and style. It's not the best movie in the franchise, it's not even close, and we're gonna get to that in the next video, but it might be one of the most memorable. It's one of the more colorful ones. It fully commits to being ridiculous in its own way. And honestly, that's kind of the entire identity of the Fast and Furious franchise now. So in a weird way, Too Fast, Too Furious walked so the later movies could drive a fucking car out of a plane. What the hell? Anyways, those are my thoughts on Too Fast, Too Furious. If you grew up watching this movie just like me, let me know, because I feel like everyone has at least one scene from this movie burned into their brain. And if you want to see more movie commentary like this, subscribe, follow, that whole jazz. I got more videos coming like this soon. Next one will probably be about Tokyo Drift. Anywho, thanks for watching, and stay safe.
Ready.